Hello everyone, Bigdos is here and welcome to another video. In this video we're gonna watch a Halls of Atonement plus 17 I did earlier as a Beast Mastery Hunter, and we did this dungeon because you guys voted on the poll and chose this dungeon as a Beast Mastery Hunter. I also had in the poll possibly me doing this as a Survival Hunter, but you guys chose for Beast Mastery, and so that's what we're gonna play. On the opening poll, this one is like the go-to nowadays, I think, in Mythic Plus. You go to the left, and usually as a hunter you get asked to trap the Hound's Master, because he is the leader of the patrol, and if you stop him with your trap, then you can just walk onward and he will stand there for 1 minute. Something you have to keep in mind, which I'm not doing at the moment, our DPS is really low, as you can see. Currently the warrior has not actually done any proper DPS so far, and so this spool is taking longer than I expected. And what happens is after 1 minute your patrol starts walking, and yeah, that can be a bit awkward, as you will see shortly. Currently we are playing in mob week, so mobs are stronger, so always make sure that you put a hunter's mark on the Shard of Halkias if you have the conduit to reduce his damage or reduce the overall damage that you're getting from that mob. So hunter's mark that, and what you can do is also feign death. So here I throw down my freezing trap because the patrol is actually coming in, but I actually trapped one of the guard dogs. It's not that bad because we're right into the next pool, and well, luckily there were no two dogs charging one person and biting him twice, so you get a massive bleed. The tank can handle that bleed, but no one else really can, so yeah. Here I throw down my binding shot a little bit early. Luckily the tank does actually decides to move away, and there you have the Loyal Beast. Loyal Beast means that the vicious Gorgons of course get bigger and start hitting way harder. And so I decided to use my intimidation to stop that. You can also use your freezing trap to stun that, but you have to be pretty quick, and usually you're kind of out of range of the hunter, the hunter, and so your trap has a traveling time, which makes it harder to stun him. But yeah. Here I tell the tank I have cooldowns in the hope that he will do a big pull again. And with a big pull I hoped he would grab the Hound Master and the Vicious Gargants that are in the top right. I do not know what actually what kind of defensives he has up, so either this is just his normal route and he just like does this pull over and over and he doesn't look at cooldowns, or he didn't have any cooldowns available to him, so for him it was better to play it safe, because otherwise he wouldn't have survived. But sadly, yeah, the pool didn't went on, or he didn't pull these, so we could have had a bigger burst and destroyed them. I am playing as a Night Fae, and I'm playing with Rylak Stalker's Piercing Fangs on this one. Did this because it's mob week, so we're longer in big AoE pools, so I don't really want to use the Night Fae Legendary because it's strong only in 4 mobs or less, so you want to go with Rylak Stalkers for this one. Well guys, if you like this content, then consider leaving a like and or subscribing to the channel. It helps me out a ton. And if you have any feedback from me on how I can improve my channel and what I can do to make it better, leave it down in the comments. It's amazing if you guys do that. Also, if there is something that you do like about the content that I'm making, then well, by all means put that in the comment sections as well, because well, it's nice to hear, and then I know what I should be keep on doing, because that also works in a feedback way sense. Something English hard sometimes, sorry. Here again, Shard of Halkias, instantly Hunter's Mark him, because I don't want to take too much damage from his trash, so yeah. That is quite important to do. This was a bit awkward. I moved forward and there was a Spiteful. I should have moved backward because I was still in range, so I could have just backpedaled a little. My cooldowns are back up. I'm gonna hold them, and I think in a second I'm gonna tell the tank again that I have my cooldowns up, so he can do like the Tormentor and the little mobs on the side. There we have it. That way we can actually do a bigger pool and I can burst them down. Here the tank was very aware, and it's good from him. He was aware of the healer's mana, and so luckily he decided to wait a second. This gives us Bestial Rat up for this pool as well, which is very nice. And there we have it, and we now start bursting. Always I'm using Pod Tender. I don't know how the Conduit or the Soulbind is called, but if you have the one where you get the Field of Blossoms, as you can see underneath my feet, try and stand in it, because it is very nice. It gives you a decent amount of haste, like 15% or so. So it's nice to do that. There I did not have faith in the group, and so I turtled. Luckily someone kicked it right in time. And also what I should be doing here, on the Shard of Helkius, I should be using Hunter's Mark here and using Feign Dead to reduce the overall damage by about 15% or something like that, making this fight way easier for the healer to heal me up. So it's something that I could be doing to make it easier. I choose Champion's Brand, and to be honest, I'm doubting a little if this was a good call. And why is that? Because one, it's Grievous, so our health like slowly ticks down every so seconds if we have lost a bit of health. And so yeah, that makes that the healer will have to, if I'm using Champion's Brand, the healer will have to make sure that I'm above 75%, 70%. So yeah, and that's not gonna always be the case. So I'm not really sure if that was the right call. On the other hand, I don't think the Incinerator has that many great choices, and so Champion's Brand it is. This was a bit of an awkward pull. Didn't really know what to do with it. And now we're gonna go into another bit of an awkward pool with only 3 mobs. I still decide to use my cooldowns here because I was holding on them onto them in the previous pool as well, and now this is a small pool again. But yeah, how long are you gonna hold your cooldowns? So you better just throw them out whenever you have the chance, or when you know that you're gonna do like a massive pool afterwards. Only thing is, I do not know the route, I do not know the tank. I usually play with bugs, so I don't know when there is a big pool coming up. So yeah, if I would have known what's coming up shortly, although not intended, but you guys will see soon. If I would have known that, English, yes. If I would have known that, then I would have held my cooldowns for this moment. But yeah. Because here comes the amazing Frostlands, and our tank decided to wait, is that this moment? I think it's gonna happen shortly. Our tank will get yeeted off into God knows where, and he will pull, there he goes, and he will pull like everything there. So it would have been really nice if I had my cooldowns here. On the other hand, my cooldowns are back in 45 seconds. By the time I hope this pool is done. But it meant that I would have held my cooldowns for like a minute and a half, almost longer, without actually using them. So that would not have been great. I used my binding shot at the start of the pool. That was not actually that great. I did not know how the tank would be surviving, so I decided to just use my binding shot and hope that he will run away. He did not actually do that, and so I threw a tar trap down after that, so the tank could actually kite from the mobs and make sure that, yeah, he stays safe. There the cost went through and the Gargon is now big, I can use Tranquilizing Shot to remove that, so it's easier for the tank to survive. Although at the end of the pool it was fairly easy. And now I don't know if I actually called it, but I do have my cooldowns back up and the tank is doing a big pull, so that's pretty nice. And this dungeon is pretty nice to do all in all. There again, on the Shard of Halkias, we do our Hunter's Mark to reduce the damage. Otherwise, this could have been fatal for me. Luckily, it's not. And here, just try and kite your, how are they called, Spitefuls, if they are getting close. But Spiteful is an affix that is so easy for us as Beast Mastery Hunters. I'm currently learning Survival, and then you suddenly need to be standing in melee. And I make a lot of dumb mistakes because I'm not used to playing melee. And yeah, Spiteful is ass then. I think it's an affix that's really not melee friendly, and some of the mechanics are really not melee friendly as well. But yeah, that's pretty brutal sometimes. For some reason I always think that Shard of Halkias will also drop some sort of orb where I get anima power, so I always walk towards it. And I still have not learned from my mistakes, because I think I've said it in a previous video where I'm doing that as well, and well, I'm still doing it, but yeah. Try and use your Barb Shot on as many different targets as you can, because you want to spread out the bleed, making sure it ticks for a lot of damage. And at the end of the run, at the end of the dungeon, you guys will see the damage breakdown, and you will see that Barb Shot is like in the top 3 or top 4 of our damage dealing abilities as a dot, just because we spread them out so much and so evenly. There we go. I decided to use my Bestial Red at the end of this pull. Not sure if that was a great call, because my Bestial Red is going to come off cooldown here, or going to be on cooldown. Luckily I had quite a lot of resets of my Barb Shot, so I get it back of course fairly quickly, so I can use Bestial Red with the rest of my cooldowns on this pull. I know the boss fight is coming up, and there we stun the Loyal Beast, I think. No, we did not stun it because it was on cooldown, and the cost actually went through. I should have been throwing a Binding Shot down. Oh, I don't have it, I can see now. So there it is, Dark Trap to at least slow them, and then a Binding Shot afterwards. But what I was saying, I was not holding my cooldowns because it is mob week, so these packs are almost more difficult than the boss, or I think they are more difficult than the boss. And we do not run the Night Vale Legendary, which also means that our Wild Spirits is just not that strong in single target. So yeah, you don't really want to hold it for that one. Our Druid is Vent there, so we get a double Loyal Stoneborn here, which is pretty nice. And as you will see, our Druid will absolutely blast this boss to Kingdom Come. And so we don't really need to be dealing the damage, because the Druid will do it for us. I think at some point he gets about 24k single target DPS, so yeah, there it is, 25k, 27. This Druid is blasting, and as you can see, Halkias is just disappearing. And that's really nice, because it means that we really don't have to do all that much, and we can deal our damage more in AoE kind of scenarios. But guys, if you are still watching, consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. But I was also curious, what are you gonna play in 9.2? Because 9.2 is coming up, I hope. I don't know, they're still changing things. Are you gonna play Hunter, or are you gonna play Beast Mastery Hunter, or perhaps maybe you're gonna play a different spec? I'm considering playing, of course, Beast Mastery. That's something I would definitely do. Here I almost considered attacking, but luckily we didn't, because that was just a mistake from the tank. So we can actually invis spot past. No one's really sure what's happening, but oh well. I decided to, the plan was to skip, so I just decided to skip this. But what I was saying, I'm thinking about playing Survival and Beast Mastery Hunter for 9.2. I'm not gonna play Marksman, I think, because I really do not like the casting part of it, like casting aim shot and well, steady shot is fine because you can still move, but like standing still for aim shot, I really do not like it. So I don't think I'm gonna be playing that. I am actually gonna play, what's it called? I think I'm gonna play Survival though, because one, it's really strong, but even though I don't think it's gonna get live right now because the tier set is just simply too strong, I think it is really fun to play. So that's why I'm gonna play it in 9.2. But yeah. All right, a bit of an awkward skip, a couple of silly deaths, but yeah, that shit happens, sadly. Luckily it's boss week, or mob week I mean, and we got a lot of the trash already, so we have, I think, plenty of time to do this. That was a bit awkward because my Field of Blossoms is like there in the blood puddle, and I really wanted to be standing in there because 45% haste is amazing. And well, now we don't have that, or not 45, 15%. 45 would have been broken. But yeah, we have a nice burst there, and also this boss is going down really quickly. So yeah, the mobs aren't grouped up that great, so what you can be doing right now is you're doing your rotation and thinking about this, like those little ads will spawn and you can see my mouse goes over to them. Use your interrupt to make sure that they come to the boss so you guys can effectively cleave them down. That is something that you can do. Just, you know, be mindful of it. Here I try to pump out as many barb shots as I can to have the stomp to clear the mobs. But it's something to be mindful of. You guys can easily do that if one of those little mobs don't get destroyed because someone doesn't know how to do the mechanic or whatever. Yeah.
One of the more ruthless Marsworn draws close. Be ready.
Here I saw that the shaman was like not standing with the group. I think it was the shaman. Yeah. Or it's the druid. I don't know. One of the two. I saw him not standing with the group, and so he would have gotten feared. That's why I decided to walk over to him, so I could make sure that he did not get feared. Disengage into feign death to not get the bleed. Easy. Just do that so you are always safe. Again, questionable if you should take Champion's Brand on this one. I decided to just keep on rolling with it for the increased crit rating. And normally the tank would drag them out. We're apparently just standing here. It's fine. We press our cooldowns and we just try and burst them down as much as we can. In your burst window, of course, still try to make sure that you are using your barb shots on as many different targets as you can. So try and target swap quickly to make that happen. That way your burst is even stronger. Yeah. Now the pool is getting a bit extended, of course, because of the Spiteful, and we go into the next pool. Luckily for this one we have IQD, which gives us crit at the moment, and we are in a very strong position even though we don't have the rest of our cooldowns. That's the thing I do like about IQD. It's like 1 minute they overlap, and the other minute, well, they don't overlap, but you can you have like a strong offensive cooldown to use besides your bestial wrath. I assumed we were staying here, but apparently we are skipping Sogadon, which is fine in boss week, I think. Or mob week. Don't skip Sogadon in boss week, by the way. Don't. Please, by all means, don't. I dismissed my pet because I was afraid that they might pull. But to reiterate, is that the word? I don't know. But please don't skip Sogadon on boss week, especially in a pug, because what will happen is you will come to the last boss and my headset will fall out, so I can't actually hear anything, and now it's back. So that will happen, but besides that, the statues will start flying. Sogadon will give your party a physical damage increase, so the physical damage dealing statue will hit you in the face. And of course not you, because you're a Beast Mastery Hunter and you will actually know how to walk out of it. But like the rest of all your DPS will get hit, they will all die, everyone will cry. Please, by all means, don't skip Sogadon. It's terrible. It's fucking terrible. Unless you are a coordinated group and everyone knows what the fuck they're doing, and then it's fine. But it's never really fine, especially not in a week with bugs. Where no one, yeah, well, a lot of people do know what they're doing, but they still get hit by the statue. So yeah. This room is always terrible, I think, for BM. I don't really know how to do effective cleave damage here. I just start dotting up every mob with barb shot to cleave some of them down, and yeah. Besides that, I'm never really dealing that much damage here. I don't know if there's a trick to it, like increasing your damage here. Of course, except maybe like just cleaving the manifested envies that are around the boss if the tank grabs them. But I think that's not really effective DPS, because then you're yeah, like here, those mobs where the shaman is getting all his damage from, like he's not really doing anything. You need to kill the tormented mobs, otherwise the mini boss will keep healing himself. So if you're that guy that just focuses on the envies instead of the souls that are around, well, then you're an asshole. No, not really, but it's not really effective. This mini boss always takes quite a long time in mob week. I do not actually use my aspect of the wild and wild spirits here, because I think it's not really useful to do that. I want the cooldown for the boss. So yeah. I Hunter's marked him though, because he's doing this Wicked Bolt, and I do not actually know if it only targets the tank, but just to be sure that it does not actually target the tank and it might actually hit like other players, I decided to Hunter's mark him in case he would damage me. But you could easily kick everyone if everyone just uses their kick on rotation, then yeah, it should not be a big problem. And now we're on to the boss. The last boss already. Hunter's mark him as well. And I'm currently thinking like I really need to make sure that I dodge the statues, because I do not know how much damage they deal. Now Sogadon is not being used. And yeah, there I did not knew where it was going, so I just preemptively started moving to be safe. And so it's something that I'm mindful of right now. Always be careful with the statues when they get dragged in, stand in between them, and then please just stand in front of one of them. I see so many groups and in the pugs that I'm running where people are just not soaking them because they think they're not have a defensive or not, you know, whatever reason, they just don't soak it. And then they wipe the group and then they leave, and then you have done like 28 minutes of hauls or 26 minutes of hauls without any profit whatsoever. And although these keys don't really give me anything anymore, I really like to show you some content, and that's why I'm usually doing like these plus 17s, 18s. I could do higher, but it's difficult to get into those groups, and then for some reason people in plus 20s are still bad sometimes, so yeah, it's hard to get content. But guys, if you watch this all the way to the end, then consider leaving a like and or subscribing. Well, don't consider it anymore, you watched it all the way to the end, so I guess you liked it. So leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And well, we did 10.4k overall, so I think that's pretty decent. And let's look at the breakdown. Wild Spirits, of course, we used it a lot in big pools, so that was nice. Then we have Beast Cleave, because we used multi-shot often enough to keep Beast Cleave rolling. And then Barbed Shot as our third damage dealing ability, which is pretty nice. Cobra Shot is a little lower this time because, well, I'm gonna pause this. Cobra Shot is lower because, of course, it was not as much single target. So yeah, that's the damage breakdown. I hope you guys liked it, and I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.